Yo, look at me all lit up and glowing. Look at this. You want more? Less? Got some lights. We're getting professional with it. I even got a microphone, little clip-on microphone. I was just trying to sort it out then, but couldn't figure it out. Something's not happening with it. I don't know. I get fed up with technology very easily, so we'll sack that off. Today you can just enjoy the new lighting situation for what is episode 15, I want to say, of Healing with Sam. What's going on, people? How are you all doing? Hope you're very well. Hope you're enjoying the ride. So today I was going to continue on from last week's episode with that experience in Mexico, opening up the realm of ancestral emotion within me and that journey into the emotional root of the disease. And then I was going to jump 2 months down the line to another experience with ayahuasca where that really got blown wide open and took me into months of processing my father's anger and hatred, which was, interesting experience. But we'll get back to that next week, I think, because today I wanted to bring in something. I was just updating my book earlier, sort of something process I'm going through at the minute, and it made me just think about the importance of this person, which I wanted to bring in and really sort of like speak to, the importance of Kim. Are we dropping names? We just, why not? Kim, motherfucking Kim. Shout out to Kim. The sacred mirror, that one person, that one relationship that can cause you more pain than any other. And so within that, incredible opportunities for growth, expansion, and a deepening into love, essentially, within yourself. And this is something I was, writing about in the book this morning because of something, process I've been going through this last couple of days. And we'll get to that. But I think just first off to say the importance in this healing journey of that relationship, and just generally within my life, but also as it pertains specifically to this healing journey, because we spoke before, obviously, about the importance of loving yourself, the importance of maintaining a state of love or deepening into that state of love within yourself. Essentially, like, this is what this healing journey is all about, is like embodying enough of a experience of love within myself that there is no room for dis-ease. Essentially, that is basically what this process is all about, in a nutshell. And there is no one person, I would say, who has been more instrumental, more kind of impactful in that journey for me. There's some relationships we get into that trigger specific wounds within us. There's been a lot. There's been a lot of that over these last 3 years. All the feelings of abandonment, rejection, feeling unloved, unseen, unworthy, all of that. And I've gone into many, many deep processes with all of those things, and ultimately through processing those things, these wounds that originated obviously in experiences and our interpretations of those experiences that we've had in childhood, leaving us with these wounds that we all carry to some greater or lesser extent. Processing, integrating that into my experience of self, into my wholeness, has led me to, a capacity and an experience for love within myself, which I would not have otherwise found. So, I think just one time for Kim. What a ride it's been. But so kind of the process I've been going through these last couple of days, and this is something that I feel is quite an integral part of the journey in the present. I've had this back pain for the last 2 weeks now. I know when I get this pain in my lower back, it's always connected to feelings of abandonment or being unloved or something like that. Like, issues with the lower back tend to be connected to issues of feeling supported. So it's always that. And I know as soon as I get a little ooh in my back, connect to those feelings, process that, my back will be fine again. But it's just been getting worse and worse, really, for these last couple of weeks. And I didn't think any of those feelings were present, so I wasn't really sure what was going on with it. See, I think I was driving around the other morning, a couple of mornings ago, and it's just like, I really need to connect to what this is. Like, what is going on? Like, we can't bring this to the surface now. And then pretty much immediately it did. And took me into a deep process, which has kind of been ongoing for these last few days, of this feeling of like, and I'd kind of connected to this over the last couple of months. Basically, we'd come together again for a short period a couple of months ago, and then when that ended, since then I'd had this kind of loose, vague feeling coming up every now and then of like, I just don't want to do it. You know, like, I don't want to do it on my own. And I hadn't connected that to the cystic fibrosis until the other day, so I started feeling all of that, and then realized there was this feeling there of like, I don't want to do it alone, as in I don't want to do this whole battle, this whole with cystic fibrosis on my own. And then underlying that was this feeling of I don't want to die on my own. You know, that was kind of the root, the base of it. And the last time our kind of relationship ended was she decided she didn't want to continue that relationship because of the CF and because, well, I might die at some point and I can't conceive of children naturally, and so she decided, you know, she's obviously, quite heavy and has obviously brought up lots of different feelings over the last couple of months. But then, just these last couple of days connected to this feeling of just being left to kind of like deal with it yourself. Like, you know, there's this sort of thing of, oh yeah, you might have a really, you might have a hard go of it, like it might get rough. I'm just going to leave you to that, you know, from the person who I, you know, love more than anything in the world. So obviously that has, it's not surprising then that I feel unsupported, so that my back has been a nightmare. So, you know, obviously that's quite a big, that's quite a tough pill to swallow, isn't it? Like, you know, the person you love saying, I don't want to do that with you, like, good luck with that, you know. Obviously it wasn't like that, she didn't say it like that, but you know, that's how my emotions have interpreted that. And obviously from those kind of like wounds of kind of feeling unloved, abandoned and not enough and all that stuff, obviously nothing to do with her, not originating from her, but kind of triggered by the situation. So that's been some big processes the last few days, been having some big releases of that feeling of just like, how could you leave me to just, you know, to die on my own. But this is why I feel like this has been a crucial kind of part of my process and the story of this healing journey, because ultimately you go into those processes and as always it's about integrating and transcending and transmuting that into something different, into a different reality within yourself. So I move through those processes and always arrive at the end in that space of love and just this kind of like this feeling of I'm going to be there, you know, I'm going to be there to support me all the way. And rather than it being like I'm going to be there as you die from this disease, it's transmuting that into, no, I'm going to be there with you all the way to healing. And that feels like a powerful kind of process and shift that's taking place within me at the minute. I could just like feel that, my heart, just like the blissful waves of energy emanating from my heart with that. It feels powerful. There's more to come, like my back is still hurting. Usually when my back's like this, it'll just be one sort of like process of feeling into something and then that'll be it. But it's ongoing, it's still a lot of pain there, there's more to come with it. And it's just a case of continuing to surrender to that process, to that feeling of like, how could you leave me with that? Yeah, so once again, shout out to Kim for that, because we have a connection, I know, and have seen and felt and experienced, that stretches beyond the physical. I feel that we have a connection that is eternal. And so just big reverence for that woman and that relationship and that connection, because it's so integral to my journey generally in life, and then also as it pertains to this healing journey. So yeah, that's where I'm at the minute. Cool processes taking place, painful ones, deep ones. That's where the good stuff is. These are ultimately the moments where this healing is taking place, you know. There's hundreds, thousands of these little moments, these processes, these transmutations that I've gone through over the last few years that make up this journey that you will never kind of be able to really fully grasp or fathom or understand or experience, obviously, because it's me, my experience. But yeah, it's all about surrendering to all these different things, all these different parts, all these different feelings, letting that pain guide you to an ever deeper experience of love, essentially. And that's what is happening for me at the minute and consistently, and that's what this journey is all about. Yeah, I've lost all semblance of where I was going with that again. I've just been rambling on, but that's what I do. I'm a rambler. Yeah, shout out fucking Kim. Love to her, love to you all. Have a wicked one. See you next week for some more ayahuasca journeys. Bye bye.